Good morning, Delaware.
And you know, everything's cultural, right? We grew up in a society like, you know, like Vincenzo and I always say, is our side of fence, your side of fence, my side of fence, right? We all know what that means, and we fight every day to break down those fences, but also to bring awareness to what's going on in everyone's community, right? So in our culture, in our community growing up, Vincenzo, it wasn't mental health wasn't a thing. It had no name. It was, hey, there go crazy, that's Crazy Ted or Crazy John, or you know, not knowing what brought that person to that point, right? It was a gentleman in the neighborhood that would. His name was Seif, right? And you're like, hey, Seif, bust a rhyme. Seif would bust a rhyme like it would just off the top of his head, right? Like I never seen before. But he had struggles and things that brought him to that moment. It could take one moment to change a person's life, and then take 2 moments for someone to call that person crazy, right? So we find it unfair. And we have so many tools and so many amazing superheroes that are fighting to not necessarily normalize it, but bring awareness to it. So we said we just need to make sure that if we have thousands of people tuning in, and you know, like we need to do something. So our part of doing something is to highlight people, facilities like Sean's House, the Teen Warehouse, the independent superheroes that are going out here and tucking their capes or taking their capes off to help teens and adults cope with this, right? So here's our segment out at Sean's House at University of Delaware. All right, if you are overwhelmed and you got so much going on and you just feel like you're underwater, I have found the perfect place for you, and that is?
Sean's House.
Sean's House.
All right, 136 West Main Street. For more information, you can go to Sean'sHouseSL24.com. Just get here.
Jack Ryan, Executive Director of SL24 Unlock the Light Foundation, which operates Sean's House, Sean's Rooms, our mental health scholarship, and our education programs on mental health and wellness. And so I worked with young men who constantly were kind of trying to overcome that stigma to kind of navigate a mental health challenge. A number of my former students, some of them pictured here, they came back to school and they were really depressed. They had lost somebody that they really cared about, and that was Sean Locke. And so Sean was University of Delaware student athlete, started as a walk-on, made it all the way captain, battled through injuries. And we know that injuries can kind of spike a mental health challenge among high-performing athletes. And so these guys came back and they said, like, hey, by society standards, Sean checked all the boxes. He would have, he was a friend to everybody. He had a good job. He actually, after graduating here, was at Puccini Poland Group. And that's after he had achieved his dream of making it to March Madness. Scored his first points against Michigan State when UD made it to March Madness. And so, again, these guys were kind of like really thrown for a loop. Like they didn't know what to do because somebody that they looked up to, that they saw all these check marks, the expectations that they had of him, how he should feel, I think the expectations he had of how he should feel didn't match what he was feeling inside. And unfortunately, they came back and they said, we lost him to suicide in 2018. And so after that, family, friends, the community kind of got together and said, well, what can we do differently? How can we create spaces where people can talk, people can have that conversation that Sean and so many of the other students, alums, my family, the conversations they didn't have. So this would be like a one-on-one room. So somebody could come in here, have a conversation. The other thing that we'll sometimes do is like telehealth. So say you're from New York, you're out of state, and like you're in a dorm. Well, what are you gonna do when you need to talk to your therapist? This could be a space where somebody could do that and talk to their therapist in some privacy. Folks can check out books. There's self-help books, some fiction books if somebody needs a little bit of escape from what's going on. And then there's Narcan kits, lock boxes, drug disposal kits, all those kinds of things. Basically a harm reduction shelf there as well. Everything that we do here is free of charge. We train young people. We've trained over 380 young people to be peer support specialists. They go through a 7-week training program. It's overseen by our peer support manager and a clinician. It's in partnership with UD Healthcare Theater. And they kind of pass at the end of mock session to be ready to meet a guest where they're at. And so for some guests, it could be just a bad day. It could be, maybe a breakup. Maybe it's a tough day at work, maybe a tough day in the classroom. But for some folks, it's depression. We've had 215 people come in an active suicidal crisis, and another young person was here to meet them where they're at and get them the help they need. 215 people are here because another young person took a part of their lived experience with a mental health challenge, said, I'm going to be here and work with you. But I think so many people leave with vulnerability here, and it's life-saving, and it's transformative, and I think it's a true definition of teamwork and leadership.
Ivan, that video was extremely helpful and extremely important for our viewers and listeners. The importance of mental health and having a facility that anyone, especially our youth, can go to. So thank you for featuring that here on Good Morning Delaware. I appreciate that, you bringing that to light, so thank you.
Yeah, it was, so my best friend, when we was growing up, he killed himself over South Bridge. It was a Thursday, right? And what's so crazy is like walking into Sean's house where Zach was doing the interview, there was a fireplace, and on that mantle was everyone that the people that were close to the people that worked there, they committed suicide. When you're talking about mental health, like your mind can really play a trick on you, right? So one thing that I'm super for is for people to go get a therapist. Like even like in the Black community, having a therapist meant you was crazy also, and that's not true.
No, it's not
right?
true.
And it's okay not to be okay.
That's
so
right.
like I have a therapist that I speak to every week, and I absolutely love it, right? So if you're out there encountering or struggling with mental health, I tell you, reach out. There are facilities that will help you. There are people that care about you, even if it's your best friend, right? Just say, I'm carrying too much. Right. You know, call us, shoot. You know, call DETV. Call us. We got the hookup, right?
Yes, and mental health is an invisible disease.
Oh, Jesus.
Good morning, Delaware.